President Obama claims that an intervention is necessary to, quote, maintain the international norm on banning chemical weapons. But only 33% of Americans recently polled agree that such an intervention would be an effective deterrent.
That's ridiculous. What do you want to send a message by killing more people?
Another talking point has been that American credibility would suffer if we do not intervene. But once again, the American public just doesn't see it that way. 74% of Americans recently polled claim that, to the contrary, they believe it likely that we will suffer significant blowback. Do you trust your government or not?
I would say yes, I trust my government most of the time.
Not really at all. Why shouldn't I?
Okay, and why do you think that rates would be that low? What do you think's happened recently?
People are uneducated.
Though the rift between parties has widened recently as regards mistrust of the federal government, sentiment about Congress is actually pretty uniform across party lines. Almost 60% of people declaring all different party affiliations say that they disapprove of Congress, and they place the blame squarely on members, not the system. So it looks like the only bipartisan agreement coming out of the Capitol these days is our collective disapproval. That double the GDP figure comes from Harvard economist Lant Pritchett, who says that when it comes to increasing global productivity, quote, the gains from labor mobility just swamp everything else on the table. He puts it like this: the flow of goods and capital is already pretty open. But if you completely liberalize trade in goods, you'd get a worldwide gain of about $109 billion. If you completely liberalize the flow of capital, that gain would be about $65 billion. And gains from complete labor mobility would be 1,000 times greater, 65 trillion. But he says, let's put open borders aside. Increasing migration by only 3% would still result in a $170 billion gain. And that's more than rich countries spend in total on development aid worldwide. Now, you've probably already heard of BPA, bisphenol A, found in lots of hard plastic products like water bottles and in the bodies of over 90% of Americans. Though it's banned in the EU completely, atrazine is the most widely used herbicide in the US and one of the most common drinking water pollutants. And get this, it can turn male frogs into female frogs. Of course, people aren't frogs. Exposure to dioxins in the womb or during development has been shown to lead to low sperm count and quality. Bonus, they're also carcinogenic. Dioxins are pretty hard to avoid, but they get concentrated in meat, fish, eggs, and dairy products, so take a tip from your vegan friends and cut out the animal products. Future generations of sperm will thank you. In Washington, D.C., Karina Stenquist, RT.